Today's different. Let's take it to a different level. Let me fix this camera real quick. Let me fix this camera real quick. All right. Today's different. Today is not about the inner work that you've done. Today is about the inner work that you are now responsible for. By the way, I'm in my robe today because quite honestly, this is the most sovereign way that I can show up. I love this robe. It's my favorite robe. I'm in one of my favorite rooms. It smells the way I want it to smell. I'm drinking what I want to drink. I'm feeling very sovereign right now. So I wanted to show up the way that sovereign feels like for me, and and dare you uh to discover, to imagine, and to discover what sovereignty looks like and feels like for you. If day one and day two were about restoring authority, then day three is about what what authority governs. So we're going to talk about money, we're going to talk about work, we're going to talk about responsibility, and we're going to talk about legacy. This is where people fail loudly. They fail quietly by avoiding structure. And today is going to close that gap. So let's start with step number 7. Money does not fix its order, it reveals it. Order precedes accumulation, and sovereignty expresses itself through structure. Let's get to it. Am I going the wrong way? I'm going the wrong way, huh? I know what I did. We're at the end of chapter step 7. Hold on. Let me get right, y'all. Don't tell Siobhan. She's not here. She don't gotta know none of this happened. Here we do. We talking about money, work, and structure. Order before expansion. And it's important to know that money amplifies the system that it enters. I know a lot of people that think like if they just got some money, that is going to change everything about their reality. And yeah, you're right, it will, but it's not necessary, it's not guaranteed that it's going to change it in a positive way. And and we've seen too many people. We've definitely seen way too many people who got some money but didn't have the right mindset, didn't have the right understanding of what to do with it or even what to do with themselves. And that money came into their energy field of chaos and just created a greater space for chaos. Because money amplifies the system that it enters. You know, money is neutral. It's not good or evil. It's not moral. What it is revealing. That's definitely what it is for sure. It's definitely revealing. A lot of people think that money fixes problems. It doesn't fix problems. It reveals the problems, the disorders that are there. Money reveals your relationship to security, your relationship to power, your relationship to worth. If money triggers fear, guilt, or avoidance, those reactions existed before the money arrived. Money simply makes them visible. And many people moralize money to avoid responsibility. They say money changes people. Money isn't important. Money is the root of all evil. And these beliefs sound virtuous, but they are often protected disorders. You don't need to love money. You need to relate to it clearly. See it as the tool that it's meant to be. That brings me to key number 85 from our book, Wealth That Outlives You. This is a powerful understanding once we start to understand really what wealth is. Most people think wealth is about the accumulation of materials, and it's not. It's not, unless we're talking about the accumulation of sustainable assets. Wealth is not a dollar amount. Wealth is the accumulation or the creation, the acquisition or the creation of sustainable assets, things that will continue to make you money. Wealth is about continuity. It's not about a possession, it's not about a dollar amount. Wealth that disappears with you is not wealth. It's consumption with a bank account. Wealth that outlives you requires order. It requires structure. It requires clarity. It requires stewardship. Now, if your nervous system cannot hold a responsibility calmly, money will only destabilize you, not empower you. And again, we've seen this happen so many times in front of your very eyes, whether it was somebody that you knew closely or somebody that you've seen from afar. People often ask, why does money ruin some people and stabilize others? And the answer is simple. Money amplifies whatever system it enters. If it enters chaos, it grows chaos. If it enters order, it'll grow order. And this is why sudden money often leads to impulsive spending and relationship strains and burnouts and loss of direction. The money didn't cause those issues, it revealed them and empowered the things that would lead to them. So let's talk about something. Let's talk about order, because order precedes expansion. Key number 90 in this powerful book. Where's it? Where's my book? Y'all gotta get it. I promise you, it's gonna change your life in the way that you live in, the legacy that you leaving. It's at brianhyppolite.com. Matter of fact, today you can use discount code Sovereign. Today and all weekend, you can use discount code Sovereign at brianhyppolite.com. And it's gonna save y'all 33% of everything at brianhyppolite.com. Survival to Sovereign, 111 keys of divine identity. Yeah, make sure you get your hands on it. So we're at key number 90, though, talking about order and how it precedes expansion. Before money grows, structure has to exist. Not perfect structure, but sufficient structure. Structure does not restrict freedom, it protects it. When there is no structure, money becomes emotional. When money becomes emotional, it becomes unstable. Stable things don't stay long, do they? Sovereignty requires systems that remove emotion from repetition. You get what I'm saying? Like, many people resist structure because they confuse it with control. They say, I don't like systems. I like flexibility. I don't want to feel boxed in. But what they're really saying is, I don't trust consistency. And I know I don't trust myself to be consistent. Structure doesn't trap you. Lack of structure traps you, exhausts you. I'm not telling you what I heard. I'm telling you what I know. So as we're talking about the things that are going to make you stronger, let's talk about these words that you use and how they create the realities that you experience. Words are law. And this ranges in so many other places, obviously, but we're referring to in this in this moment, how you speak about money. How you speak about money becomes instruction to your nervous system. If you say I'm bad with money, your nervous system hears avoid responsibility, avoid money. If you say money is stressful, your body prepares for the threat that's coming along with it. If you say bad people have money or rich people are bad people, you create a negative relationship between yourself and money, you will avoid it whether you know it or not. Language creates internal posture, and your posture determines your behavior. So it's important to pay attention to the words that you're using in your life, not just around money, but in your life, about yourself, about everything and everyone that you care about. It's absolutely important that you understand. Like, if you could see your words manifesting in front of you in real time, I know for certain you would be a lot more cautious with the things that you say. If you could see it happening in front of you in real time, yeah, there's you would pay a little bit more attention. Better yet, if you could see your thoughts manifesting in real time, man, you would think about what you think about a little bit. So we want to, again, language creates internal posture. You hear me? So posture yourself for greatness. See how posture determines your behavior. Since we're talking about words, since we're talking about words, I definitely want to stop at key number 97 real quick. Key number 97 is prayer is alignment, not request. If we want to talk about some things that we were taught wrong or taught, just not taught the correct way, taught an ineffective way. And I'm not talking about any type of religion. I'm talking about the way that we've come to understand the language of prayer, just the same way we haven't had a great understanding or were given a great understanding of how we're using our words to begin with. But prayer was never taught or has been taught as this pleading. And energetically, vibrationally, that's just not what it is or what our ancestors used it for or how they used it. It wasn't begging, just asking for things. It was emotionally coming into, vibrationally coming into becoming what is in coherence with what you was asking for or what you were speaking on. True power is coherence between intention, emotion, body, and action. It works through resonance and fine tuning, and these internal systems align. Decisions clarify and actions become clean. See, prayer organizes. Prayer organizes the inner world. It's statements that you are making, speaking to the God within yourself. The thing with the way that we go about prayer, most people go about prayer is that they're asking and they're begging and they're holding on to the vibration of lacking what it is that they're asking for. Now, again, this is not a religious thing. I'm not telling anyone that their God won't hear their prayers if they don't say it a certain way or something like that. And I'm not, it's not a conversation I'm having with you. Energetically and vibrationally, You are meant to do certain things a certain way to get a certain result. Asking assumes distance. It implies power is elsewhere. The wholeness must be granted. You come into a space of gratitude. This fractures authority. This weakens the trust in the inner guidance when we are begging. Prayer names what is being claimed and what and what is lived into. And you're meant to affirm your alignment, listening to the power that's within you, the voice that's within you that's speaking. Prayer becomes presence rather than performance this way. And it definitely carries more power. What I want you to do is shift one fundamental thing. Stop asking, how do I make more money? Because people ask me that all the time. So that is a question that I get all the time. What can I do? How can I make more money? Start asking, what system would hold more money without destabilizing me? Start asking, what is it about you that you need to stabilize to be able to hold more money? Because oftentimes, honestly, that's not it's not about what you could do to get more money. It's you being able to take care of more money. That's what's separating you from it. Not being a good steward of the money that you have now or the assets that you have now, what you have now. Sovereignty does not chase expansion, it prepares for it. So whatever next level you want to go to, the way that you get there is you start creating the space for that for that growth. You start integrating the systems that align with that growth. The truth is you don't rise to the level of your income, you fall or stabilize to the level of your structure. And if you only have a structure that's going to allow you to get by, then you're just going to keep getting by, even if that's what you are trying to avoid. If that's what your structure is, that's what's going to happen. So we want to integrate this practice. You got this integration practice. And I want you to take a moment and notice what happens in your body when you think about money. This is a financial nervous system check. Take a moment and notice what happens in your body when you think about money. Not numbers, not goals, just money. Where do you feel it? How do you feel it? Is it tension? Do you feel avoidance, urgency, excitement? This is your financial nervous system. And it governs more than logic. I would love for you to write down one area of your financial life that lacks structure. One area of your life. Now, you don't got to put it in the chat, but write it down. Write it down. Let's identify this area of your life that lacks structure. Not, not everything, just one thing. Now, write one simple structure that would reduce the emotional load that you feel when dealing with that part of your life. This could be a boundary, a system, a schedule, a rule, whatever piece of structure allows you to navigate more comfortably, more freely. Small structures create stability. Identify one phrase you use about money that reinforces disorders, that reinforces lack and limitation. Rewrite that phrase into a neutral, sovereign statement. I'm going to give you an example because I hear this a lot. I'm bad with money. You know, your mind is going to believe whatever you tell it. If you say something enough times, can you think of how many times you may have said? If you're a person who says, I'm bad with money, can you think of how many times you've said, I'm bad with money? Guess what? Your mind believes it, your nervous system accepts it, which means even the idea, the concept of you getting money is scaring your nervous system because it's saying, I don't know what to do with that. So if that's something that you say, I'm bad with money, we want to turn that into a neutral and sovereign statement. So we're going to say, I am learning to steward money. I am learning to manage money. Yeah, we're gonna say that. The same way that if you wouldn't allow your children just to say certain things about themselves that would tear down the way that they think of themselves. You gotta it's like it's almost common sense, but we weren't taught the power of language, and so we've lived under certain spells without even knowing that there was spellbinding taking place. This is not affirmation, this is reprogramming posture. You know what I'm saying? Like your relationship with money lives in your nervous system and in your belief system. And I can tell you this, if you're not happy about it when it's leaving you, it's probably not coming back. It's not coming back. Listen, even if I'm spending money, even if it's in a moment where there's a part of me that didn't want to spend that money, I'm still, hey, money, I'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good time out there in the world. Grab some of your friends and come back to the house. We'll see you over there in a little bit when you get back. Like everything I spend is coming back. That's my relationship with money. Everything that I spend is coming back. And when I'm spending it, I'm spending it with joy. I'm not spending it thinking about something else. I'm not spending it uh thinking about something else that I could have been spending this money for. I'm not spending it thinking about what work I need to do to replace it. I'm not spending it thinking about, you get what I'm saying? I'm spending it with joy. I'm spending it with gratitude that I got the ability to do it and it's coming back. That's one of the things that I tell myself all the time, man. Like, and I'm sometimes I'm saying it as I'm spending the money, it's coming back with more. It's coming. Hey, go get your friends. Money like me. Money like me bad. Money tell his friends about me. I know how to treat it. I know how to make money feel good. So y'all know how y'all don't even pay attention. Y'all know how to make money feel good, so money don't be staying with you. You know what I mean? Money like to move. Money like to circulate. You be trying to keep money up in the corner. Nobody put baby in the corner. Money like to move around. You gotta give money some freedom. Let money circulate. You put money into some of those sustainable assets and let money fluctuate. Let money circulate. It's gonna come back with your friends and gonna say, "Hey, it's a good time over there at Brian spot." And they pull up. They pull up. I'm trying to tell you. So this is what we're gonna do. We got these integration steps. We moving forward. Get this out the way. The 7 steps. Step 7, rather, sovereign steps, is that we do not chase more. We do not avoid money. We do not judge ourselves. We observe. Notice where money triggers emotion, where structure is missing, where clarity would reduce stress. Expansion comes when the system is ready. Yeah. And of course, we got the law. Step seven's law is money does not fix its order, it reveals it. Order precedes accumulation, and sovereignty expresses itself through structure. So do me a favor, type it in the chat. What is one structure that you will put in place to stabilize money? Put it in the chat. What's one structure that you gonna put in place to stabilize the money you got, the money you getting? Oh, I like these answers. I like these answers. All right. So let's move it right along to step 8. Lineage, legacy, lineage, and responsibility. And I'm excited about this because it's about becoming the interruption. You know what I mean? When structure stabilizes, something shifts. Hold on, let me fix this mic. When structure stabilizes, something shifts. Money becomes quieter, work becomes cleaner, decisions become less forced. And that's when a deeper question appears. What does this build beyond you? Basic structure that only serves itself eventually collapses. But structure that serves continuity, now we talking. Now this is legacy. This is where sovereignty becomes or stops being personal and starts being generational. So let's talk about lineage, legacy, and responsibility. Everything we've done so far has been about internal order, but sovereignty does not end with an individual. Whether you realize it or not, you are already shaping the future through how you live. Not through intention, not through motivation, but through regulation. Legacy is not something you leave behind. I always thought it was. I always thought that's what it was about. But legacy isn't something that you leave behind at all. Legacy is something that you are actively transmitting. And that shift is a major step in sovereignty. Influence across generations. Right now, at this moment, you have influence across generations. I'm actively healing multiple generations in my family. I'm talking about in one fell swoop. These holidays get-togethers has been things in the recent years that my family has never seen because relationships are being healed and bonds are being repaired and things are being forgiven and love is being restored. And so from the youngest generation to the oldest generation, there's a unity that I've never seen before in my family. It's happening from the influence of myself and a few others in my family that we're having across multiple generations at the same time. My great aunt sent me a text message last night talking about how she was mad she couldn't get on on Zoom. She couldn't figure it out. That lady like 80 some years old. But she wanted to pull up, to be here because she's heard about what's going on, and that's such a beautiful thing, man. That like really made my night. But influence moves through generations, whether we're conscious of it or not. Patterns we do not need permission to continue. They only need repetition. What gets repeated gets normalized, and what gets normalized becomes inherited. And this is how families pass down stress responses, conflict styles, avoidance patterns, relationship dynamics, money behavior, not through teaching, through nervous systems. Children do not copy what you say, right? We all know that. They don't copy what you say. They calibrate to how you live. I can send one of my children to their mother's house, and if she's there for more than a couple of days when she come home, this sometimes had to be a recalibration and it had to take place. Some of you know what I'm talking about. Children calibrate to how you live and the frequency that you on. So it's always so easy to influence them. Most people think they pass things down through stories or through values, but that's not how it works. Transmission happens through tone, it happens through timing, through presence, through absence, through regulation under pressure. This is why unevolved survival and unresolved survival doesn't stay contained in one lifetime. It travels. This is also why regulation becomes a moral responsibility, not a personal preference. Something that you feel like you have to do to become that interruption. Interruption is an act of choice. Becoming an interruption doesn't happen accidentally at all. It's a decision to respond differently when reaction would be much easier. It means pausing where momentum pushes forward and choosing awareness over autopilot. This choice often feels uncomfortable because it breaks what's familiar to you. Interruption disrupts what has been normalized. There's some disruptors here. They gravitate to me. I'm a disruptor. There's somebody watching this right now that's a disruptor. You found yourself here because you know you're a disruptor. You were meant to disrupt some systems that were running through your family tree. And I know you. I know you like I know you're like I know myself. The disruptors, we have some things in common. We often feel alone because systems resist change and patterns defend themselves. Those invested in what is familiar to them perceive the interruption as a threat rather than healing, oftentimes. Some people will mistake your truth for a lie because it interrupts the lie that they want to believe to be true. And this could bring misunderstanding and distance and pressure. So you don't return to what was. And isolation becomes evidence of you being a disruptor. But you cannot interrupt a cycle while being in a dysregulated state. So being a interrupter, being the bloodline breaker, requires regulation. Old patterns pull the hardest under stress. We all know that. Regulation creates the pause necessary for choice. It allows you to stay present without reverting. Interruption is a nervous system level act. Interruption does not require aggression. You do not need to attack the past to end it. You simply start participating in what no longer aligns. Stop participating in it altogether. Calm refusal is often more powerful than confrontation. And this preserves your integrity while ending the repetition. Cycles end when someone chooses differently without needing permission. So if you are a cycle and in your family, stop looking for the support of the people who are still participating or benefiting from that cycle. Don't anticipate it. Don't even anticipate it. And do what you were sent here to do. You hear me? You don't heal lineage by resenting it. You heal it by not repeating it. You don't interrupt patterns by blaming the past. You interrupt them by not reenacting them. An interruption does not require confrontation, it requires consistency. So the person who changes the pattern is rarely celebrated at first. They're often misunderstood. Like I said, we often feel lonely. They feel like they don't belong anywhere. I journeyed to the middle of the Sahara Desert one time just because after my mom passed, I felt like nowhere felt like home. And no matter where I went, I just felt lost. So I figured if I go in the middle of the desert and get lost, I mean, it wouldn't be no different. And I went to the middle of the desert to get lost and find myself. And I stayed there for 2 days before coming back with a piece of myself that I couldn't find anywhere else. That solitude be necessary, absolutely necessary. Sometimes it feels heavy being the generational curse breaker, doesn't it? Because you are holding awareness that others have yet to integrate. You see the patterns, you feel the cost, you refuse to continue it, and that refusal creates tension. That tension is not failure, it's a friction between old systems and new capacity. Some going to see it as rebellion. Interruption is not rebellion, it's our responsibility. I can't begin to tell you why I'm this way. I'm this way. But I am one that has learned to end cycles without hatred. One of the things that I didn't see that no one I hadn't seen that modeled in front of me. I heard about it, but I had to learn how to do that for myself because I always seen everything end with problems. And then I would see people stuck, emotionally attached to uh to problems with people and holding on to this anger and this hatred. And I'm like, I don't want to be like that. Hatred keeps you emotionally entangled to what you are and trying to outgrow and trying to release. When people come to me and say, well, how do I heal from this thing? And we get to going down the rabbit hole of what this thing is. Anytime there's hatred, which is a very intense emotion that is identified between them and another individual or whatever, you got to release that before we can even get to these other things. You got to release this intense emotion that binds you to it, that thing that you want to let go of. Blame extends the life of a pattern, the same way it extends the life of a problem. So again, you don't heal lineage by resenting it. You heal lineage by not repeating it. And hatred is still attachment. Clarity is freedom. When you can see the pattern clearly without collapsing into anger or guilt, you're no longer inside it. You're looking at it from the outside. So here's something that's important. Come in. What's up?
Is it okay if I could choose the particular number with a particular product?
I don't know what you're talking about, but just go finish what you got to finish.
But it's not in order, but it looks interesting. And Daddy,
No, go finish what you got to finish.
super home. Can I get something for me to eat?
Yes, stop whining. And then you see what's on, you see it? Yes. No, leave it there, but look at it. I love you. Repair. Repair without blame. That's where we was at. I know a lot of people, like I tell people all the time, like if you want to healing happens in layers. So there's some of us that need to forgive our parents, right? But don't just forgive your parents. Forgive your parents for uh I'm gonna just go with what's commonly said. Forgive your parents just for not being there, or for not giving you, even if they were there, giving you the love that you wanted or the love that you needed. Forgive your parents for that, right? Forgive them for that. Now, forgive yourself for going out and looking for love to replace that love in all the wrong places. Healing happens in layers. So we forgive our parents, forgive ourselves, forgive those who we met in those wrong places who did us wrong. Forgive them too. Forgive ourselves again for staying in those wrong places. We should have left. Healing happens in layers. And you got to be willing to allow it to happen without blame. Forgive your parents. You don't need to shame your parents. You don't need to demonize your family. You don't need to relive the story effortlessly, like or endlessly. Most people did the best that they could do with the regulation that they had. And that's really a truth that you should hold on to instead of anything that you do that makes it about how you feel. Not that your feelings don't matter. It didn't matter. But you really should see it through the lens that most people were doing the best that they could do with the regulation that they had. That does not mean that they couldn't have better regulation, but they was doing the best that they could do with the regulation that they had. Give them grace. Besides, you don't repair the past by punishing it. You repair the future by living differently. So let's talk about that. Let's live differently. Hatred consumes energy. It keeps attention tethered to the past. It reinforces identity through opposition. So even when behavior changes, the nervous system remains entangled. That's why you could leave a person, you could even leave a pattern, but the pattern does not leave you. You got to end cycles through clarity. This is what I learned. Oh man, it's so much easier. It's so much cleaner. Clarity in cycles cleanly. You see what no longer serves you. You acknowledge its origin and you choose differently. There is no need to punish what was once adaptive. Understanding dissolves attachment. Clarity creates distance without hostility. I'm trying to tell you, it's going to change. This is going to change your life. Because ending cycles without hatred does not mean excusing harm. It means recognizing context without minimizing impact. Compassion allows truth without perpetuating blame. And this creates space for resolution. And that's really what we're about. And the other thing is energetically, what you really got to be accountable to, and what mentally you have to realize is that you are preparing to be an ancestor. Let's take it there. Let's talk about that. You are already an ancestor in formation. Like I said, legacy is not what you leave when you die, it's what you transmit through your nervous system right now. Dysregulation transmits trauma, integration transmits safety. So, what patterns end with you? Key number 88 in my powerful book, Survival to Sovereign 111 Keys of Divine Identity, talks about becoming an ancestor. There's two whole pages on this key. And I don't have time to read it all to you, but I do want to expand on it a little bit. Because, like I said, becoming an ancestor, you not become an ancestor when you die. You become an ancestor. You become one when the choices that you make begin shaping people close to you, and in some cases, people you may never even meet. An ancestor is not just someone who lived long ago. It is someone whose regulation created safety across time. Your presence determines the emotional inheritance of somebody tomorrow. And that's weight and honor and that responsibility. Responsibility is often misunderstood as burden, but in truth, responsibility is orientation. It gives life meaning. It gives effort direction. It gives sacrifice context. When you live with generational awareness, your choices slow down. Your reactivity decreases and your integrity sharpens. You stop asking, what do I feel like doing? And you start asking, what am I passing forward? Ancestry is a living responsibility. This awareness changed my life in the way that I was going about it. To become an ancestor is to live with generational awareness. It means recognizes that your choices, your patterns, and regulation do not end with you. They echo forward through nervous systems, beliefs, behaviors. Ancestors aren't defined by memory, they're defined by what remains functional. And there's a lot of people who leave harm instead of wisdom. And that's from all of the unconscious living. Unconscious living produces inheritance, just not the one that was desired. Unresolved wounds become normalized. Coping strategies become tradition. Survival behaviors become cultural patterns. This isn't intentional harm, but it is unintended continuity. Becoming an ancestor requires interruption and it requires intention. So you'll choose about what will be passed on by what you integrate. I know that was somebody question, like, well, how do I choose what I pass on? You want to choose what's going to be inherited, what you integrate. Every pattern you regulate creates a new line for the people that follow you and ends the old one. Every belief you clarify frees the next generation. Every value you live consistently becomes a reference point. You know what I'm saying? You are writing inheritance through your embodiment. And this awareness brings gravity, not pressure, at least for me. Because look, you don't need perfection. You just need intention and responsibility. You don't need to be remembered by name. You need to leave behind something that works. Becoming an ancestor is quiet work, but the peace is long term. The win is long term. When you live as an ancestor in formation, urgency fades. What I do? You stop chasing proof of worth. You focus on coherence. You prioritize what stabilizes rather than what impresses. And you begin to live life beyond the present moment. You do not become an ancestor when you die. You become an ancestor now by how you live. I like this. I like what's on the screen right here. It's like trauma is transmitted through nervous systems, not just stories. And then it's you in the middle of all that as the interruption point. And you get to choose what's passed on. What you regulate, you free. What you integrate, you end. I like that. So I had to share that with you. So let's get on to these steps for step 8. These integration practices that we got to utilize what we've learned. There's a transformational shift that's taking place. And I want you to stop seeing your healing as personal. See it as preventative. When you regulate yourself, you reduce suffering that you will never even witness. And that is power. That is dignity and that is sovereignty. So take a moment and reflect on your lineage. This is called lineage mapping. No names or patterns, just identify one pattern you inherited, one pattern you see repeating, and one pattern you are committed to ending. And write them down. This is not to shame the past, it is to clarify responsibility. Now write this sentence. The pattern that ends with me is no explanation, no justification, just clarity. Now ask yourself quietly, how would I show up under pressure if I knew someone was learning from it? And let that answer guide your behavior the rest of this month. And let's see what happens. Step 8, we got our sovereign steps. Do not try to fix your family. Do not try to fix your family. Do not explain your growth. Do not seek validation. Live differently. Let regulation speak for you. Consistency is louder than confrontation. Listen, there was somebody in my family who had uh, a negative, a negative and outdated idea of me. Like if it was true, it was definitely outdated, but we just gonna say it's negative. Um, and rather than and so they would tell other people, oh, Brian's like this and Brian's like that, and nobody else had ever seen that from me. And so I would hear, oh, such and such think like this about you. And rather than going and confronting it, I just showed up around such and such and just loved on them and everybody around them. So much that they made such and such say, maybe I had it wrong about him. Because
Mhm.
you know what I mean? Sometimes all you gotta do is just be the truth. I mean, consistency is louder than confrontation. And when I say that led to so much healing, not just between me and so, but just in the example that it showed other people as well in the process. Because there was other people who knew what I was doing. They knew I'm over here and I'm being extra to make sure that everybody get this love. So tell me something. How y'all feeling? We almost done. We almost there up to step 9. We got the step 8 law. You are already influencing the future. The only question is whether that influence is conscious. When you become the interruption, legacy becomes intention. I like that. I like that. So what I need you to do is put it in the chat. Type it in the chat. One pattern I am choosing not to pass forward. What is it? Let me know. What's one pattern? I'm loving. I'm loving these answers. I'm loving these answers. It's looking like freedom. It's a whole lot of healing going on. It's a whole lot of healing going on. I like that. I like that. Let's keep going because we in the ninth inning now. The sovereign state. The sovereign state. Let's do it. Because when you see how influence actually moves, how it moves across generations, when you understand that regulation teaches more than words could ever, one final responsibility remains, and that's living it. Living it. Not perfectly, not performatively, but consistently. That's the final step. The final step isn't becoming sovereign, it's learning how to return. So that sovereign continues to be the pace that you stay in. So let's talk about the sovereign state. Governance, calm, and return. Because up to now, we've been doing important work. We've been dismantling survival. We've reorganized emotions. We've rebuilt discipline. We've reclaimed your attention. We've clarified your relationships. We've stewarded your desires. We've structured money. We've assumed generational responsibility. Now we arrive at the question that actually matters. How do I live this? See, sovereignty isn't a breakthrough. It's not an achievement or a permanent high. It's not, it doesn't come in form of a plaque that you get to put on the wall or nothing like that. Sovereignty is a state that you return to. A calm mind governs. Most people don't allow themselves to go through life with a calm mind, go through their days with a calm mind. They're always feeling a certain way, but when you allow yourself to be neutral, you'll see things clearly. You choose accurately. You're not being hijacked by urgency or emotion. Sovereignty does not require polarity, it requires orientation. And when you stop at needing everything to be, when you stop needing everything to go your way for you to go your way, a lot's going to change for you. A whole lot's going to change for you. There's this key. There's this key in my book that I love. I love the lesson that it breaks down about neutrality and the power that it is. It's not absence, it's centered presence. And this is why reactive people feel loud and sovereign people feel quiet, because quiet does not mean weak, it means settled. Neutrality is rare because survival depends on polarity. Right versus wrong, or good versus bad, or safe versus dangerous. Polarity, you know, it has its place, but it's not meant to rule you. So it's time to be neutral. It's trying to keep your mind neutral. Again, a calm mind governs. A calm mind does not mean a passive life. It means thoughts arise without command, emotions arise without dictatorship, and decisions are made without urgency. A calm mind is not slow, it's accurate. I mean, think about a pot of boiling water. This is how I explained it to my daughters. We looked at this pot of boiling water and I said, "Can you see to the bottom of that pot?" And they said, "No." And I said, "Yeah, you can't." Just like when your mind is crowded and you got all these thoughts going on, you can't see clearly through your thoughts and through your mind when there's all these things bubbling. You got to calm it down. When your mind is calm, perception expands. And when perception expands, choice returns. You gotta learn to remain calm under pressure because that's a real test of sovereignty. It's easy to say you calm when life is easy and there's no pressure, but calm when pressure appears, that's what it's all about. Pressure does not destroy sovereignty, it reveals whether it's embodied. Just like everything else, just like faith. I know a lot of people that talk a good game about what they believe in and the faith that they have in this or that or whatever. And then when things aren't happening in the way that they want them to happen, and you have to believe in the future, oh man, they're falling apart. And I'm saying, well, where's your faith? What about that faith that you said that you had? Was that all performative? Was that all just the thing that you were believing in that moment? But like what about that faith? I thought faith was going to be the evidence of something that you had not seen. And you seem to be tripping because you ain't seeing it right now. Maybe we have a different understanding of what this is. So this is why this is why we train. This is why we talked about this. This is why we're practicing pausing, practicing staying present, and practicing returning without shame. Because those are not techniques, those are governance skills. And I told you this was a class on governance. Key number 108 is a good time. Let's get to it. Integration over ascension. Most people are addicted to transcendence. They want the next insight, the next level, the next awakening. They want you to see the next version of them, the next everything. It's all a mask, it's all a stage. Sovereignty is not about leaving your life and becoming a greater version or a different version of you. It's about inhabiting what you have fully. Integration means your insights show up in how you speak, how you pause, how you respond, how you return. If growth makes you less grounded, it's not growth, it's an escape. And that's how you see the difference, or that's how you peep and know the difference when someone's talking about this growth that they're experiencing, but they're not able to stay grounded. And it's more of like an event or a high. But when something comes that would disturb that, they're not able to keep that knowledge. And people would say, well, I knew this. And I knew better. And I would say you were aware of better, but you didn't know better, or you didn't know that. Someone would say, well, and see, I already knew that, but I didn't do it. You didn't know it. I'm gonna be honest with you. You didn't know it. You were aware of it. You were aware of it, but to know something like how God knew you before you was in your mother's womb, and or in the Christian Bible it said like Adam knew Eve and conceived Seth. Like this word, that word knew, it comes from the Hebrew word genosko. That's what the word know in Hebrew is, genosko. And it means intimacy. You're intimate with this thing, with this person, with this understanding. There is a level of intimacy. And if when you need to do something, you don't do it, it proves that you didn't know it to begin with. You just maybe we had an awareness of it. But what you know is what you do when it's time to do it. That's why people practice and do certain things over and over again so that they would effortlessly know something. So when it was time to do it, they would just do it. It would just be muscle memory. They know that. They know how to make that shot. They know how to do that thing. Now, if they know how to do it, but you don't know how to do it when someone's defending you, then you don't know it. You know what I'm saying? You got to stay in that state. And again, it's not about doing it perfectly. It's about being able to return to it even when you leave it. When disruptions happens, people often think I'm back where I started, and they're not. They're being invited to return. People don't lose sovereignty because they fail. They lose it because they expect permanence. but it's all about the return. And that's not regression, it's mastery. This brings me to the final key of my book, Key 111, the sovereign state. The sovereign state isn't reached once and kept forever. It is a state that you enter, leave, and return to. It is a posture that you practice, a way of being you maintain through regulation, clarity, and choice. Sovereignty is lived, not accomplished. In the sovereign state, urgency dissolves. Thought, emotion, body, and actions align. Decisions feel clean. Boundaries hold. Presence carries authority without effort. There's no internal conflict pulling in opposite directions. So life feels ordered. The sovereign state reinforces itself. Regulation supports clarity. Clarity supports choice. Choice builds trust. Trust stabilizes regulation. And your system becomes coherent. And this is stability without stagnation. So when you leave the sovereign state, when stress and fatigue and challenge pull you out, sovereignty isn't about perfection. Again, it's about return. Each return strengthens capacity and shortens recovery time. Just like if you was getting in the gym, they're gonna say you just keep coming. If you stop coming, just come back as fast as you can, so you can stay in that practice, stay in that order. The sovereign state is not a state of emotionlessness. It's not rigid. It's not detached. It's regulated. It's present. It's directed. It's capable of return. In the sovereign state, urgency no longer commands. Emotions no longer rule. Discipline no longer punishes, and intention no longer leaks. Emotions no longer destabilize. Desire no longer fragments. Money no longer overwhelms, and responsibility no longer burdens. The sovereign state is coherence. Living from the sovereign state changes everything. You stop proving, you stop reacting, you stop negotiating with your values. You govern your inner world and allow the outer world to organize around that coherence. And life becomes simpler. I want to leave you with a different question than most programs do. Not how do I stay sovereign, but how do I return when I'm not? Because you will be disrupted. You will be triggered. You will feel urgency again. And that doesn't mean you failed. That means you're alive. So let's get to these integration steps. For step 8, this is the sovereign orientation ritual. Sit upright, feet grounded, breathe steadily, and say this internally. I am here. I choose orientation over reaction. I can return without shame. This is your reset. Here's the return protocol. Notice, pause, choose. Notice, pause, choose. Choose to be in alignment. Choose to stay in control. No drama, no self-attack, no story. Again, return is a skill. Practice makes it automatic. Choose one daily moment to practice sovereignty deliberately, whether it's in the morning, before conversations, before decisions, or before rest. Because this is how the state becomes a trait. This brings us to the steps. We do not chase. At step 9, we do not chase growth. We do not seek highs. We do not judge disruption. We practice return. Each return strengthens governance. Sovereignty is not dramatic, it is dependable. And of course, our laws for step 9. Survival helps you live. Sovereignty teaches you how to stay. So stay present, stay regulated, stay responsible, stay able to return. You are not here to ascend out of life. You are here to govern it. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Type it in the chat for me. What practice, the practice I will return to when I feel scattered is what? What's the thing that you're going to do? When you feel the pressure, when you feel urgency, when you feel triggered, what's the practice that you are going to use to return to your self-governing and sovereign state? We've given you several. Pick one, get to it. Write it on your wall, put it in your wallet, bro. You know, sis, put it on a sticky and put it in your on your mirror in your bathroom. Like, this is how we gonna reprogram ourselves and make things our new normals. It's gonna take a level of intention, but it definitely can be done. It definitely can be done. And here we are, we reach the sovereign oath. This is the irreversible decision right here. It says, I no longer confuse survival with safety. I no longer outsource authority to fear. I govern my attention. I steward my energy. I honor my body as law. Live as though your nervous system is the throne and your attention is the crown. Sovereignty isn't reached, it is remembered. That's the sovereign oath. Did you take it? Did you read that? Did you speak that back? I no longer confuse survival with safety. I no longer outsource authority to fear. I govern my attention. I steward my energy. I honor my body as law. Yeah. Look, this is what we came here for. This is what we came here for the last 3 days. This is really what it's been all about. It's going from survival to sovereignty and giving your life a new model for internal governance. Letting go of the old laws that structure your life in the way that you was living it. Structure your identities and your identifications. Structure your nervous system in the way that you've been feeling as you've been going through life. Survival mode is expired. And we are no longer living under these rules and these laws to govern our lives. We now have the nervous system that is the throne of our authority. You're going to start believing what your body is telling you. They say your gut is your first mind. Your body be telling you things and you just going with what your emotions is telling you. We're going to have discipline as devotion. We're going to continue to use the highest form of ourselves, the calm form of ourselves to govern our lives. And I pray over the last 3 days that you've seen things that would make this a transformative experience for you. Let me ask you how you feel. For those who have been here for the last 3 days, whether it's your first day or you've been here for the last 3 days, how you feel? What was your biggest takeaway? And how will you carry this into the future? Please put it in the chat for me. Let me know. And as y'all are doing that, I want to tell you a story. Someone asked me the other day, like you haven't told any stories. You normally tell stories in your classes and stuff. And it's just that I had so much information that I skipped all the storytelling. So I went through today kind of fast so I could tell a story at the end. So I want to tell you this story. And for somebody, it's gonna be really the most important thing that you hear this whole time. This is a story that I refer to as my Noah's Ark story. Some of you have already heard it, and if you're wondering why I tell it so much, well, it's a story that I want to outlive me. So I'm making sure that it's known, and it's a story that tells the allegory that we learned in Noah's Ark. See, it was 1990, it's 1999. It was 2019. 2019, my soul spoke to me in stillness. In a moment of joy, I was in my garden and spoke to me and it said, you need to write a book. You need to take all that information that you've been writing down and you need to turn that into a book. I'm like, cool. Go right on with life. A few months later, life changed so drastically. A few months later, my mother entered her last season of life, and at that point in time, it meant she needed full-time care. So if I wasn't with her, I had to have a home health aide. I don't know how much you know about that, but that's an expensive thing to have. That's you talking about at least $20 an hour to have somebody in the house taking care of her if I wasn't there. Now at this time, my daughters are 3 and 5. My 3-year-old is living her entire life on my shoulders. Every day from the time she was awake to the time this girl was asleep, she was taking her naps, just resting, sitting on my shoulders, and my 5-year-old was holding my hand. I had an event lounge. I had a food truck. I had a home renovation company in Tampa, Florida, and I was selling weed. These are the four things I was doing to get money in 2019. Oh, I'm living in my event lounge. I'm living in my event lounge because it's walking distance from my mother's apartment. And at that time, her medication was like $1,500 a month. And I was like, I'm either about to leave where I'm like, when my lease was up, I'm like, I'm just about to go and live in this event lounge because we need this money to make sure mommy got her stuff. So I'm living in my event lounge now. My soul tell me again, hey, you need to write this book. Yeah, I hear you, man, but don't you see everything that's going on? So like, hey, you need to write this book. Food trucks start taking off. The event lounge is doing well. Mommy's taken care of. but her health is declining, and it's saying, "Hey, you need to sit down and write this book." And I'm like, man, who got time right now? I'm trying to do bucket list stuff with my mom. I'm still being a full-time parent and a serial entrepreneur. At some point in time, my soul is screaming at me, and he's saying, I don't care what you got going on, how well it's looking for you. If you do not stop and write this book, you moving in the wrong direction. And it's screaming at me. And so this is November. This is November now, 2019. And so I got around someone that was a published author. Her name was Khadijah Grant. She's a best-selling author, wonderful vessel that came into my orbit that had the knowledge that I needed to do this thing that I had never done. So I asked her to be my mentor in this area and to show me how to publish this book. In November, we got together for 2 weeks. I isolated myself, went off into the mountains of Colorado, and wrote what is now Manifesting You 111 Keys of Unlocking Your Divinity. This book is in 156 countries, last time I heard. It's been changing lives. This is the gift that keeps on giving. I'm so glad that I listened to my soul when it told me to write this book. But let me tell you, bef- before I fast forward 6 years and say that, I released this book in January 11th of 2020. February of 2020, you know what happened? COVID. Yeah, yeah, COVID came and we all know what happened. It shut down everything. It shut down all the streams of income that I had, the food truck, the event lounge, the home renovation company. But you know what skyrocketed instantaneously was intellectual property. And since everybody was in the house, since everybody was sitting down, all y'all started buying shit. All y'all started buying books and ebooks and getting into courses and subscription communities and all these things. And overnight, what would have been a complete economic failure for me and my family moved us to another level that we have yet to come back down from. And it ain't never gonna happen. It elevated us to a place to where generational wealth and sovereignty became a conversation. It became Manifest University, it became the Manifest Mentorship programs. It became all these streams of income. It became me showing other people how to become greater versions of themselves. It became an NAACP award. It became all these things that started with me following that compass of my soul and that voice that was speaking to me. And that leads me to here right now in this road because it was the most sovereign way that I could show up. Because not having to lead this road to me represents the freedom that I've obtained to live my life exactly how I want to live it. All while providing a top tier, next level magic carpet ride type of experience for my children as we move freely around this planet at will. You hear what I'm saying? And I don't recommend this at all, but this tattoo on my face was a statement of sovereignty. It says God is rising, and that's going to be the name of my new album, by the way. Watch out for it. But this tattoo across my face, I got it when I knew for sure I wasn't going to be working no 9 to 5 or working for no one ever again. And it was a statement. I don't want y'all don't want me. We straight on that. I've been able to create a life where I can make money off of my mind and my creations, those sustainable assets that we're talking about. And again, it all started from listening to the voice within my soul. And there's somebody here tonight that needs to listen to the voice within their soul because there's a responsibility that comes with sovereignty. If you've been here for tonight or for the last 3 days, something has shifted. Over these 3 days, you didn't collect information, you reorganized authority. You saw where survival had overstayed its role. You learned how emotion informs without ruling. You rebuilt self-trust through devotion, not force. You reclaimed attention, refined relationships, stewarded desire, and learned what structure actually exists to protect. So, like I said at the beginning, this is not self-improvement. This is governance. And governance always comes with responsibility. So I want to tell you the truth that most people avoid. Most people avoid moments like this. And I'm not saying that to scare you and not depress you, but to respect your intelligence. After an experience like this, one or two things happen. Either work is placed inside a container that reinforces it, or life applies pressure, survival negotiates quietly, and the clarity fades without anyone noticing. Not because they didn't mean it, but because uncontained insight does not survive repetition. And that's why these containers exist. Their structure, not to sell you more information, but to protect what you've already reclaimed. So every offer that you see here on the screen, from the VIP to the platinum upgrades, they exist for different reasons. And you'll know which one aligns with you by the calm in your body. VIP is $67 and it's giving you the full 3-day experience. The videos of it, the audios of it, the notes, the study guide, the framework, the class outline. Of course, you get access to the VIP only Q&A after this class and the recordings of those as well. Everyone is getting a paperback copy of the Survival to Sovereign book. And of course, you have the platinum level that's available for those who want a more one-on-one experience. Again, each offer offers something different, and you'll know which one is right for you. VIP exists for those who know I don't just want this to fade. I want continued access, replay reinforcements. I want to integrate, not just remember. VIP gives you those things. The platinum is not for everyone. Platinum is for those who want proximity, who want direct access, who want correction and calibration and acceleration. This platinum upgrade removes your friction. It shortens the learning curve and it gives you access to refinement, not just reinforcement. So if you felt yourself wanting to ask deeper questions, if you felt moments where you wanted direct feedback, platinum exists for that. Because authority requires a container. Insight fades. And the containers that I've created for you is Manifest University and my mentorship program. And I know that I've told you guys about these things before, and I've mentioned it, and I said I'm going to tell you about it. So I'm going to take just these quick few minutes and let you know about my babies. These are my babies. And I love them so much because I love what they're doing. I love what they're doing. Manifest University exists because sovereignty is not built for moments. It's built in months of repetition. That's how it's built. And MU is where this work becomes law. It's small group coaching, weekly structure, community accountability, curriculums that reinforce, regulate, discipline, attention, money, and legacy. So Manifest University is for you if, ooh, Manifest University is for you if you're tired of starting over, if you're done blaming circumstances, if you want structure, not hype, and if you're ready to live with intention. If you're serious about growth and about legacy, this is a decision container that'll work for you. And you can enter MU two ways. Monthly, if you want the flexibility, or one-time payment if you want completion. Both give access to the same doctrine, the same everything. Access to our online community, to our weekly classes and all that great stuff. The difference is just how you choose to commit. The monthly access is 77 a month, and the sovereign access, the one-time payment is $497 a month. And those are available at brianhyppolite.com for sure. And the last thing that I want to show you that I've also told you about is my mentorship program. I mentioned yesterday how I have my two mentorship programs. And before I even get too deep into it, I'll just explain this first one. Manifest Mentorship is in its third year now, and we have several people from our Manifest Mentorship program in here. This is my $2,000 program. There are payment plans available. This program lasts for 6 months, and we meet together once a month. There's so many ways that this program accelerates the path. It's more than content. This is personal correction. And this is for those who know I want speed and I want precision, but I want someone to see where I want to go and show me how to get there. Mentorship is where patterns collapse faster because you're not navigating them alone. And I love being a mentor because I always needed one. So it's very self-healing to be able to be one. And this right here, Manifest Mastery, this is my baby. This is my newest mentorship program. This is the $10,000 program that I was telling y'all about yesterday, where I get to help you not only become a greater version of yourself, but over this 6 to 8 month program, we work on ways to help you build legacy. This is the Manifest Mastery program. It has a lot of awesome deliverables and things that you're going to take away, but we create a legacy roadmap. We design a roadmap based off of the legacy that you want to leave, the things that you want to be in place, the things that you want to have structured. And then we create a roadmap to get you from there, from point A to point B. There's so many things that we do. The list is on the screen, and definitely you go to brianhyppolite.com to get more information about it. But there's so many things that we do to install legacy. And these are the Manifest mentorship programs that I have available. What I also want you to know is I didn't get to make a slide about this because I just thought about it, honestly, is that I've been meaning to tell you is that discount code Sovereign saves 33% on everything at brianhyppolite.com. So everything that I just mentioned, whether it's the mentorship, uh, Manifest University, everything at brianhyppolite.com for the next 72 hours. It's 33% off with discount code Sovereign. I apologize, I don't have a slide for you for that, but write that down for yourself and take advantage of it. I want to be clear about something. There's no urgency here and there's no pressure. If you feel anxious, pause. That's not the signal that we're looking for. If you feel grounded in clarity, then that's your cue to make a move. Sovereign decisions are calm. They don't need justification. They don't need permission. You're not choosing worth, you're choosing support. So this work doesn't ask you to become someone new. It asks you to govern what already exists. Remember, return to regulation, return to clarity, and return without shame. This is the sovereign state. I would love to have, I would love to have one of my mentees I seen on here earlier, Rondell, pull up. If you got a moment, I would love to hear from you and see how you doing. This is another one of my favorite mentees who has been in the mentorship program for over a year now. So we'll say she's an alumni. She's one of the people that now she just calls me. She doesn't schedule programs. So just send me a text or give me a call and we get to have these wonderful conversations. So we've been able to build a great relationship through the mentorship program. She's a prospering entrepreneur in New York and has so many amazing things that she has going on. It was a pleasure helping her not only move some needles in her personal life, but even in choices that she made in her professional life as well. And I don't know if she's going to be available to speak, but I seen her in here. Rondell, can you talk?
I am on here. I
What's going
am.
on? How you doing?
Hi everyone. Good night, everyone. Yes, I am on here, and it's crazy because like I've been like knowing you for what 2 years now, Brian?
Hmm.
Maybe a little longer. But I've been like in your mentorship for a year. And then I joined your mentorship after hearing about you through other friends and colleagues who also worked with you. And even tonight, I learned so much. Like it's crazy. Like I have the book and I still learn so much. Like every time I hear you talk, I always learn so much. But I just want to say a few words, not much about, my experience with Brian. It was an amazing one. It's still and still is. Like that's one thing I could say. Like I've been in a lot of mentorships since I started my entrepreneurial journey, both like mainly more business mentorships, I would say. Not really for personal growth and manifestation, which I feel like that's kind of more where Brian specializes in. But he's been the most recent mentorship that I've been in, and it has honestly been for me life changing because again, like he talked a lot about money tonight, how money moves you, how you feel about money, things like that. For me, like my priorities were completely out of whack, right? I had no work life balance at all. I had no life. Let me put it like that. I really didn't have much, life. I had no boundaries. I didn't have a lot of things that Brian really put into perspective for me. He really helped me align with and reconnect with who Rondell is, right? As a person. And because of that, that's helped me to go and grow so much more because I kind of lost her along the way, and I'm still working to get her back. But, Brian has been pivotal and so instrumental in helping me get back there and just, realigning me with certain things, certain people, and also helping me to see people that I needed to distance, relationships, both business and personal that I needed to cut ties with. And it has just been a phenomenal experience. Like I just love him. I really, really, really do. So, that's my little spiel on Brian, but he knows how I feel about him. He's very near and dear to me. Like he said, I can still call him to this day and it's all love, it's all genuine. Like, if I'm going through something or whatever the case may be, he's always there to guide me along, and I just can't thank him enough. Like that's just invaluable to me, honestly. It's been amazing having him, in my inner circle. So yeah.
That's awesome. Thank you so much. And I think one of the great bonding moments that we have is when we both got an opportunity to serve together. I forgot. I don't remember how the event even came together. But you and I and
Yes.
Nobina and
Yes.
somebody
Mm-hmm.
else. There was a group of mothers who were all victims of gun.
Oh
Their sons were
yes.
all victims of gun violence.
Mm-hmm.
They had some type of retreat, and all of us wound up being there together. And it was just awesome just to see Rondell in operating in her gifts. Like to see the way that she loved on people and educated people and just just helping people together. Like that was also a great bonding moment. But you've been a wonderful mentee because you do you follow my lead. We'll talk about something and I'll say, all right, well, this is what you got to do, and even if it's not something that's comfortable for you, you like, all right, I'm gonna do it.
Right.
I might not do
Right.
it this week,
It's
Brian, but I'll do it by next week. And
that
that's a
part.
valuable thing. That's a valuable thing. You prioritize it. So I love to see the results. So I'm grateful for you as well, and and you already know that. What would you say to anyone who um, is on the fence about whether they should get into mentorship?
I mean, honestly, the way I look at like the probably the highest paid mentorship that I've ever been in was a 50K mentorship. It was an entrepreneur mentorship, a business mentorship. And I honestly didn't learn anything both professionally or personally, And so I say that to say for me, it's really not about the money, it's about the value, right? And I do not think, first of all, I don't think that your program is what you're giving people, I think it's undervalued, but you can't really put a price tag on that. And I feel like if you are on the fence, maybe join the lower mentorships, but eventually you're going to end up in the higher one because it's worth every penny. Like, you can't put a price tag on you. And so when you reprioritize yourself, that's just invaluable. So if you are on the fence, I would urge you to maybe do a little research, and maybe speak to some other mentees. But Brian is the real deal. I'm here to tell you, even again, I've learned so much just tonight, and I've already been working with Brian for over a year. So, he's always, teaching and helping me grow, and helping me to learn new things. So for me, that's that's not something you can put a price tag on. And prioritizing yourself is, it allows other things to open in your life, right? And I think that's the big purpose of Manifest University, because you don't know what you don't know, right? And so a lot of times it's perspective. And when you're just trying to do something, or you're stuck in a rut and you just can't have a breakthrough, sometimes you need that additional support and that guidance. But not everybody's guidance is good guidance. Like I said, I've had mentors before, and the results from it have not given me with what Brian's mentorship has given. So, if you are on the fence about it, I would say take it from an alumni. It's worth it. It's worth every penny and more. It definitely is. So that's what I would say about that.
Awesome. Thank you so much for that, for your words
It's
and for
my
your
pleasure.
experience. And yeah, we look forward to.
Anytime.
Thank you. We're gonna get together, man. We definitely got to do some more work, and we gotta get your book done because you
Yes.
got some things that people need to hear as well.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking about that when you said that about, how it was just in you to write the book, and no matter how much you kept trying to put it off. And I'm like, I have a testimony. I have a couple testimonies too. And, that is definitely something on my bucket list. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Rondell.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Have a good night.
You too. Y'all in the chat, I did put a link to the Manifest Mentorship intake session. You will get a free intake session by clicking that link. It'll take you to my calendar, and you can schedule this session where we can speak one-on-one, and I can tell you more about the mentorship programs, and we see which ones align with you. We see if it's a good fit for you and all that great stuff. So if you would like to go that way, you could definitely go that way. If you already know that you're ready to go, you could use the links that's been provided already and sign up. Use the discount code if you want to. Use the payment plans if you want to. Let's just get it in, get started, and start moving these needles. So whether it's the mentorship, whether it's Manifest University, or even just getting the recordings, empower yourself to be a greater version of yourself. That's what this was all about. So continue to be well, continue to be great. We got our VIP Q&A starting in just a few minutes. So if you want to get access to that, get your VIP access right now, because in just a few minutes we're gonna be in that VIP room. I'm gonna be answering questions. The questions last night was amazing. Y'all came with some dope questions. We gave me the opportunity to give you some amazing answers. And of course, all that is recorded as well. So again, if you want to upgrade so you could get the recordings of all of this, the notes and all that great stuff, plus a copy of the book, go ahead and upgrade to VIP. But what y'all think? How y'all doing? How y'all feel, man? Thank you for coming. Thank you for pulling up. I love y'all. If you're not making it to VIP, I thank you so much for being present. Be well, be blessed, be the God that you are. And I love to hear what you got from this, what your biggest takeaway was, whether it's today or another day. Thank you so much. What we're going to do is give everyone just a couple minutes. I see a few people jumping into VIP. Peace and love, peace and blessings. Thank you for rocking with me. And I'm going to see y'all soon. VIP and Platinum, I'll meet y'all over there. Love and light to everybody else. Survival to solving, day 3. I'm out.